Got all of the
right here.
He's hurt. Oh! It's over. It's over.
Done. It's over. He's done.
Hey, my boxing knowledge is impeccable. 6
Oh my God,
rounds.
he got up again.
My 50,000 is safe.
Game 100. Right now.
You bet it against Jake.
Yeah, 50,000.
We'll give that one right there.
All time.
Johnny boy,
He's a
what
monster.
was your reaction to that incredible knockout?
I think he's probably going to
Honestly,
have.
he did exactly what he needed to do. He went out there, stayed
Which is
patient,
even-
tracked his opponent down, unloaded his shots, and ultimately secured the knockout. That's exactly what we expected from him. I personally thought it might happen a bit earlier, but he still got the job done, so congratulations to Joshua. As for Jake Paul's performance, it was intense to watch. He absorbed right hands and left hooks throughout the fight, showing real toughness. While the game plan may not have been perfect, perhaps he should have relied more on strong jabs and a better pace. The conditioning factor clearly played a major role. Still, stepping up to a challenge like this takes courage, and for that alone, he deserves credit for taking on such a demanding task and seeing it through.
AJ, that's it. Oh! Let's go, AJ! Let's go! Let's go! Yeah, you ain't getting up from that, Jake. Ah! AJ! 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 Let's go! Rugby tackling you, but he had to do what he had to do to survive, and he did that. So, you know, it's very difficult to go in like, you know, out the ring for 14 months and just look and just be razor sharp with a guy running. And so, yeah, probably 2 or 3 rounds more than expected. But fair play to Jake Paul. He was a lot tougher than I thought, and he took a lot more shots than I thought he could.
Yo, what's your reaction? I walk with you. What's your reaction? What's your reaction to this knockout? What's your reaction? I got you. I'm walking with you. What's your reaction to this incredible knockout?
Well, I wouldn't call it an incredible knockout. I would call it a matter of time.
A matter of time, right?
A matter of time. And you got to realize, you know, Jake Paul had his hands down.
Bernard, any reaction? Any reaction?
So if you go past five rounds, it's a wrap.
Was it a moral victory for Jake?
Oh, he said, oh, you were shouting at me, rushing me. I said, yeah, I just wanted, you know. But like, I think he was always going to take his time. I think he was always going to be the guy that wasn't just going to go in there erratic. I said this earlier. And if Jake was aggressive, then I think he would have actually got caught earlier. But he was smart. Like, his movement was good. He was clever.
What's next for Jake Paul? Should he retire? Should he fight on?
He can do whatever he wants. If he wants to continue.
What about Joshua? You want a piece of Joshua?
Always.
Yeah? What happens in that fight?
Huh?
What happens in that fight with Joshua?
It'll be a different fight from the first fight.
Same thing?
gotta give him a lot of respect, right? Stepping in there against a two-time heavyweight champ.
Of course, bro. Dude, you guys don't give, y'all ain't giving him enough credit.
Did you see it like ending, like the way it was going?
Man, Jake Paul landed some punches, bro. Some crazy punches, man. Because, you know, it's not his weight class.
Yo, what's your reaction? I'll walk with you. What's your reaction? What's your reaction to this knockout? What's your reaction? I got you. I'm walking with you. What's your reaction to this incredible knockout?
Well, I wouldn't call it an incredible knockout. I would call it a matter of time.
A matter of time, right?
A matter of time. And you got to realize, you know, Jake Paul had his hands down.
Jake Paul is stepping into heavyweight territory for only the second time in his life, and the experts have already locked in their predictions. Joshua, meanwhile, is treating this fight with absolute seriousness, making it clear there's zero chance it goes the distance. In his words, it might last one round, maybe two at most, but there will be no final bell. For him, anything short of a knockout simply isn't a victory. For Paul, however, the situation is very different. Even a loss could work in his favor, serving as a chance to grow bigger, stronger, and more experienced under the brightest lights. That's what makes this matchup so unusual. The stakes are high for Paul, but he can afford to lose and still come out looking good if he plays it smart. Joshua, on the other hand, doesn't have that same luxury. Anything less than dominance would be seen as a failure. Joshua knows he needs the knockout, and naturally, Tyson Fury has jumped in to stir the pot with fresh controversy. Rumors are already swirling about a massive 2026 showdown between Fury and Joshua, and Fury is openly backing Jake Paul to win this fight. He's gone as far as saying that Paul knocks out AJ without question, even claiming he'd put £1 million on Jake Paul if they fought. It's classic Fury behavior, framing Joshua as a fading force while hyping Paul as the rising heavyweight, even pointing to Paul's bulked-up, chubbier physique as some kind of secret weapon and selling the matchup as a true toss-up. But Fury's bias is hard to ignore. He benefits from Joshua losing, because it makes a future Fury versus Joshua fight even bigger and more profitable. On the other side, Oleksandr Usyk, the only man to beat Joshua twice, isn't buying any of the hype. He's blunt in his assessment, saying that if Anthony Joshua wants to, he will destroy Jake Paul. In Usyk's view, the gap between them is enormous. Joshua is an Olympic champion, a world-class athlete, a Rolls-Royce of a fighter, while Paul is a YouTuber-turned-boxer, more like a Fiat. It's a brutal comparison, but a pointed one, emphasizing that showmanship and social media fame can't replace years of elite-level boxing experience. Usyk even joked that he'd pray for Jake Paul, a line that lands somewhere between humor and a serious warning, because this is the kind of fight that could turn ugly fast. Roy Jones Jr. then offers a more technical perspective, speaking from experience about what it's like to add weight and try to use size as a weapon. He acknowledges that Paul has been bulking up in preparation, but reminds everyone that Paul didn't grow up in boxing. Jones emphasizes that boxing is a home run sport. One clean shot can change everything, but landing that shot requires timing, skill, and years of experience. Joshua has been hitting those home runs since he was young. Paul hasn't. While Jones doesn't dismiss Paul's power or confidence, he's clear about the reality of the odds. His advice is simple and blunt. Go for broke, swing for the knockout, because there's no chance of outboxing Anthony Joshua. Lennox Lewis echoes Usyk's confidence, looking at the matchup through both a sporting and entertainment lens, but his conclusion is straightforward. AJ wins this easily. He gives Paul credit for having the courage to step into a fight like this, calling it a bold move, but insists that skill and athleticism beat fame and hype every time. Amir Khan is even more direct, predicting a Joshua knockout and suggesting this could be the moment that finally ends influencer boxing. In his view, if Paul gets caught by Joshua's right hand, no one from the YouTube space will be eager to test themselves against real fighters again. Khan's stance is about respect for the sport and the harsh consequences of underestimating genuine boxing power. Deontay Wilder adds a more nuanced take, acknowledging Joshua's power and ability while also noting that the matchup feels somewhat scripted due to the clear weight advantage and Joshua's active status. Wilder points out that this is the first time Paul is facing someone who isn't a novelty act or a retired legend, making it his most dangerous test yet. The stakes here are undeniably higher. This is professional, serious, and dangerous. Deontay Wilder's concern goes beyond predictions and into safety, repeatedly stressing that fighters risk their lives every time they step into the ring. Above all else, he wants everyone to walk away intact. David Haye echoes that seriousness, calling Anthony Joshua a truly clean, elite athlete and warning that Jake Paul could suffer lasting damage. Haye places heavy responsibility on the referee, arguing that someone must be compassionate enough to stop the fight if Paul becomes trapped and starts absorbing heavy punishment. In his view, the matchup borders on being irresponsible and arguably shouldn't even happen given the massive gap in skill, experience, and risk. Conor Benn offers a mix of respect and realism, praising Paul's courage for stepping in and admitting that anything can happen in boxing, but mentally siding with Joshua without hesitation. He even jokes that he could beat Paul himself, but once Joshua enters the picture, Paul's chances shrink dramatically. Ben gives him just a 10% shot. He toys with the idea that Paul might have some hidden strategy, while also wondering if Paul is simply fearless, wildly intelligent, or just a bit unhinged. That's the strange energy Paul brings to this fight. Charisma, audacity, and the belief that he sees an opening where everyone else sees danger. And of course, Oscar de la Hoya couldn't stay silent, boldly predicting a Jake Paul knockout. Given his history as both a multi-division world champion and a seasoned promoter, his words carry weight. De la Hoya views the fight as exciting and potentially winnable for Paul, serving as a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming odds, those who truly understand boxing at the highest level sometimes spot vulnerabilities and opportunities that casual observers completely miss. So when you break it all down, Anthony Joshua is the overwhelming favorite. Not just because of his resume, but because of the massive edge he holds in skill, size, and experience. Every Olympic-level heavyweight, former champion, and seasoned analyst views Joshua as a machine when compared to Paul's unorthodox, late entry into boxing. Even the voices leaning toward Paul, like Tyson Fury or Oscar de la Hoya, do so with clear caveats. They're talking about potential, not certainty. Paul's biggest advantages are his audacity and the media circus he creates. He knows how to sell a fight, generate hype, and he's transformed his body into that of a heavyweight. He's clearly preparing for the power exchanges, hunting for that one home run punch Roy Jones Jr. talked about. Still, he's stepping in against a man who has both absorbed and delivered elite-level power since his amateur days. Joshua's knockout history, disciplined training, and proven ability to handle opponents far more experienced and dangerous than Paul remain the biggest factors in this matchup. Paul has never faced anything close to this level of opposition. He's fought crossover stars and media-heavy hitters, not a focused, elite boxer with everything on the line. That's what makes this fight so compelling. Now the question is yours. What do you think happens? Share your thoughts below and subscribe for more updates.